good.
Maybe. Hopefully.
I have the mic on, so it's
Come on. Come on. Well, it's not letting me show it, so
show what?
the countdown. So, hey. All right, we're live.
We're live. Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? We're doing fantastic here. It has just been a fantastic evening. And if you can sense any sarcasm in my voice, I have a lot of it. Do me a favor and let some folks know you're watching. Tap the like, tap the love, the reshare, or whatever you do. Tag your friends, share it on Facebook for me. Get the live up in the algorithm, and we'll get running here in just a moment. I'm standing in front of weather radar. Brett, can you slide to the right a little bit for me? Just
There you go.
You could, yeah. Anyways, I'm standing in front of weather radar. Sorry, and we're watching. Obviously, the storm kind of, start to come around. It's starting to get its act together here. You can see the snow expanding. We've got blizzard warnings here across portions of Kansas and portions of Nebraska. And they're gonna get, 2 feet of snow and blizzard-like conditions out there. So big storm getting underway. We have been looking through the models tonight and looking at all the latest data. And I can tell you what a headache. What an absolute total headache with model data. Yesterday, for those of you that probably have been following along, we did a pretty good job at not really caving too much to the erratic run-to-run differences yesterday morning. If you remember watching yesterday, we had the European model that didn't have much of anything at all. We had the American model that was aggressive with snowfall. The two were very different. We didn't pull the plug or change the forecast. Then kind of everything came around and got really heavy. And then tonight we've had some higher res data tonight that has decided to work some dry air issues into the forecast. We've had some other high res models that aren't really changing a whole lot. It's super stressful, forecast here. So nonetheless, we're trying to give you the best that we can here and give you the best forecast we possibly can. I'll tell you what, I know that some of you earlier didn't like my you didn't like my sweatpants. So I went home and I put jeans on.
Yeah.
My wife made fun of me on her Instagram.
I even put a nice a collared shirt on for
Brett,
yeah.
Yeah, Brett put at least I have some jeans on. I put a coat on for you. And I'm going to pretend like I care how I look, what you guys think of how I look, because I don't care, but whatever. Anyways, let's get into the analysis, all right? A lot of people watching, share it with a friend, tag it with a friend. And guys, just as we get into the forecast, this is a difficult one. Difficult forecast. We're doing our best. Would appreciate a little bit of grace and understanding as we sift through all this data, all the different model solutions, all right? So what you have up on the screen is simulated radar, okay? And the big struggle tonight, the big question tonight is when does the snow come in? When does it start accumulating? That's what we've been trying to figure out. Some of the evening models came in with major dry air issues and lower snow totals. Some of the other models came in and brought in more snow across central and northern Indiana. I know a lot of people have seen the HRRR run, and you're looking at how much snow it's showing you, and I caution you with that. And I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit. But let's advance this forward. Take me to 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, Brett, and you can see starting to see a little bit of snow work in. Okay, you've got some indications of some snow. It's not really going to be doing much across central Indiana and central Illinois by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. You can see a nasty winter storm here, nonetheless. Sleet from central Missouri to southern Illinois. Freezing rain is the pink color, and then the rain down here, western Tennessee, northern Arkansas, southern Missouri. As we go forward, we'll take it to 10 a.m. And again, I want you to kind of see how there's a notch here in the precip shield right here, and kind of go back and forth a little bit, Brett. A couple back, a couple forth there. You can kind of see the little striations or the voids in the shield of precipitation. There's dry air there that the model is going to or that the storm is going to battle as it approaches. It's very cold out right now. The air's very dry. You know, I call it chapstick weather. You know, your lips get chapped. You need lotion. It's very, very dry. It's cold. It's nasty. We've got to battle that dry air initially. And some of the models are later with the onslaught and the accumulation. Some of them are earlier. Okay, we're choosing the consistent route right now. We're choosing the solutions that have made the most sense with what we've been saying. All right. Is there risk to the snow totals and the start of the storm system in and of itself when it accumulates? Yes, there is. And you know, there's been there's five of us here tonight, 5 meteorologists here tonight going through the data for the last 10 hours. We've been here doing this all day long. So
an interesting report, somebody in central Illinois reported that it's already starting to kind of spit snow there.
Okay.
So I do think that's important to keep an eye on those initial reports to determine how much of an issue the dry air is going to be. I would say that's an encouraging report. And by the way, any reports you all have throughout this event, they are so valuable to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Because some of the evening, models, they're not seeing the initial precipitation right now. They really went bonkers with dry air. In fact, we were left scratching our heads about an hour ago of where in the world is all this dry air coming from? It just kind of out of nowhere. But anyways, let's keep going. Let's take me out here let's go about 1 o'clock tomorrow. Stop at 1. And again, you can see a nice swath of snow here from northern Kentucky, southern Ohio into Cincinnati, across central Indiana and Illinois. Again, see the voids here a little bit. See the whites in here. That's a battling dry air a little bit. All right. So here's the thing is the snow maps and the simulated radars, they don't tell the whole story. And a lot of times in storm systems that are complex like this, we've got to look at what we call our dendritic growth zone, or the DGZ, where snowflake formation or development happens. If you knew what it took for a snowflake to develop, it would blow your mind. But we have to look at things that the models don't show you at face value. And this particular run here is doing okay at presenting some of those red flags with dry air. Let's take it to about 3 o'clock. Again, look at some of the holes here in the feet of the simulated radar. Okay, you can see that here just kind of draped across I-70 and the I-74 corridor. This is one of the solutions that's not as dramatic with some of this dry air suggestion, by the way. The interesting thing is that a lot of it kind of came out of nowhere with this. And it's, we question the validity of it. So again, we're choosing a model that's a little bit less intense with the dry air suggestions. We go to, let's go to about
5, yeah.
Here's what, 5 p.m. Starting to fill in pretty good. Okay, snowing good across central Indiana. See the sleet mixing in and the freezing rain. All right, heavy snow about central Illinois, Missouri. This is your deformation banding here, your backside snow. And we do have models that are suggesting that after our break in the action, potentially Sunday night into Monday morning, and a second wave, we'll talk about that too. Let's go forward. Take me to 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Sunday. You can see, again, good shot of snow coming down. And you know, a little bit of dry air here. Okay, a little bit of pocket of dry air, and maybe some freezing drizzle and stuff's going to work in later tomorrow night. Take me to about 11 o'clock tomorrow night. And where you see the holes kind of redevelop again is where I'm concerned about some sleet and some freezing rain mixing in. Again, I talked about that on the other streams here earlier today, and really, in fact, all week, is you know, about 10 o'clock Sunday night to maybe 10 o'clock Monday morning. There's a pause in snow, potentially, you know, in most of Indiana. I know the map shows snow here. I understand. But when you look at the skew T's, you look at the upper level soundings of get the full picture. There's no saturation in our dendritic growth zone where snowflakes develop, and we also have a very strong westerly wind up there. That DGZ is at what, about 15,000 feet?
Yeah, it's way up in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
500 millibars is what we call it, which is basically the halfway point of the atmosphere. It's really the main limiting factor, aside from what the models just started to come up with on this latest run. The DGZ being so high is the main limiting factor because it can kind of break up the snowflakes and lead to a little bit of a finer snow. Doesn't necessarily cut the accumulations down substantially, but maybe makes the snow production slightly less efficient, slightly smaller snowflakes than what we could have.
Yeah, it cuts down potentially on higher end totals, on the big totals. And that's the problem with the HRRR snow maps. A lot of you are seeing these HRRR put down a foot of snow in Muncie and Kokomo and Lafayette, and we do not agree with that. That is not something we are in agreement with right now, I can tell you that. This is as we get into the backside snow event. We're going to probably change over, go to 5 a.m., Brett, Monday morning. You can see the backside. This will start to fill back in. We'll get some deformation stuff on the backside, and you'll kind of see the snow come back for round two. This particular model will keep snow through the area Monday until probably about, 1 o'clock?
Yeah,
moving east.
This is out to 1 o'clock.
Moving east at 1, 2 o'clock, so secondary little wave behind it that could add a couple inches. This particular set of data, the run here of the accumulation of snow, looks like this. We'll pull it up here real quick. Again, you can watch to see when snow starts to accumulate in Indianapolis. That's paused at about, what time is that?
1 p.m.
About 1 o'clock just south of Indy, okay? Johnson, Morgan, you know, down there across southwest Indiana, we're starting to accumulate snow somewhere around that 1 to 2 o'clock time frame, and then it slowly works its way into Indianapolis. One thing we really have to watch in the forecast overnight and tomorrow morning is how much dry air are we battling? Are we battling a lot of it? Are the models overdoing it or are they not? We just don't know. I mean, you know, you guys can say whatever you want. We just don't have a solidified answer to that right now. It's just the way that it goes. But we continue to watch the snow come in and take it. You can take it through the full run, Brett, and just kind of
7, 8, 9 p.m. here.
Yeah.
You're talking 8, 9 inches of snow. Bloomington, Columbus, Franklin by this time. This is by about midnight. Now, you know, by this time, especially on the north side, you know, the snow probably, it's showing some additional accumulations, but it may not be accumulating a ton as we go throughout the overnight hours. But what we do see, especially as we work, let me go back here, as we work into Monday morning, and as we work into early Monday afternoon, you start to get that secondary snow to work through. And then ultimately what this ends up producing here, guys, let me see if I can go this way so we can, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna cover it up. Regardless, guys, what you're going to see here is a widespread area of 8 to
12 inches.
locally 12 plus inches.
Here, let me see. I'll zoom it in while you're talking there. While you're doing that, did I just click it off?
You did.
While you're doing that, I was looking at something while you're talking there, Brett, just because something I think I wanted to look at there. Sorry, guys. Get our bearings together here. Look at us. What's going on?
We're just a bunch of social media cowboys.
I
here.
tell you.
So, but when you start getting this magenta color or this maroon color, whatever, I don't know, I'm not good with colors. Whatever is in here, guys, this is right where we kind of talked about earlier, the risk that you could get more than a foot of snow. And this particular model, while it's not maybe as aggressive, certainly not as aggressive as what the HRRR has had, it's still showing that indication, and it's showing a widespread area in here of 8 inches plus of snow.
Mm-hmm. We'll go ahead and I'll show you the this other core too. This is the
ARW.
This is the ARW. So these in particular have these kind of keep a general thought that we had, by the way, the whole time.
Yeah, note the sharp cutoff to the north.
Yeah.
You know, I think that this is probably, you know, once you get up towards Kokomo and stuff, 1 to 2 inches in here, it's going to be a very, very sharp cutoff on the north side. North of I-70 especially, the further north you go, the sharper that cutoff is going to be. You could go from 6-7 inches of snow to 1 to 2 inches of snow in about a county. Mm-hmm. And so this particular area is maybe the lower confidence part of the forecast just because of some of the dry air and how far north this ends up getting. Now you go down further south and you're talking about, you know, 6 inches of snow along the Ohio River here, probably some sleet mixed in, and quite a bit of ice as well. And we'll show the ice forecast here in a moment, but you know, out into central parts of Illinois, you can see, look at the indications. All of this area on this particular model indicating more than a foot of snow. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if it's maybe a little bit aggressive in this area from St. Louis out towards central Illinois, but I think that locally higher totals than a foot, not out of the question from eastern Missouri through central Illinois into central parts of Indiana.
I want to touch on real quick because there's a lot of people talking about the HRRR. I do want to touch on just what that model did and what it's showing, because we don't agree. And I want to talk. I want to show. I'm going to show the model just to show that we don't agree with it, not to show you so you all can screenshot it and send it to everybody and freak out and say everybody's getting a foot of snow. It's not why I'm showing you the model. So I will say that one more time. We're not showing you this because we agree. We're showing it to you because we disagree. But a lot of people are messaging or tweeting or, you know, adding us about it. It's got a foot of snow for the whole state. And the issue, the reason we don't agree right now is because when you look at the soundings of the atmosphere with that growth zone, that DGZ I talked about where snowflake development occurs, you've got winds at 50 miles, 60 miles per hour, especially further north, that are really working against the development of solid snowflakes. So for whatever reason, the HRRR is trying to get excited with widespread snow, and we're worried that now, could this be right? I mean, whatever, 10% chance that it could be, I guess, but we're worried that snowflake development for a widespread outcome like this across all of Indiana, I just don't agree with it. It's just, I think if you're north of I-70, you've got a big risk of sharp cutoff in snow totals. All right, south of I-70, that's where the better odds lie right now.
Yeah, and so a couple of things, I want to address a couple of comments in here, not really any one specifically, but people asking about, okay, well, the dry air, so I thought you all were going to be lowering the forecast from what we talked about earlier. We're just mentioning the dry air as a risk that we need to keep an eye on. That's lowering the confidence in the forecast a little bit, guys. We're not saying that we're drastically changing the forecast. In fact, we're specifically not doing that because of how volatile the weather models have been. We're trying to stay consistent with our thoughts, what we've said over the past 24 to 48 to 72 hours even. And you can see there's still plenty of support for the idea that we've talked about for several days now. And so we're not making any big changes. Nothing has substantially changed. There are some models that are bringing in drier air and lowering totals, especially on the north side of the storm, that we need to monitor. Mm-hmm. And we would be silly not to mention those risks and to lie to you and say that it's a 100% slam dunk. We're not going to do that. We're always going to be transparent with you and mention the risk, but please don't get us wrong. We're not saying that there's not going to be a storm or we're cutting totals by 70% or anything crazy like that.
Yeah. Let's stay grounded and level-headed here. All right. This is the Clarity platform, the 24-hour snowfall forecast from our blended model solution. And again, you can see this is out through 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Clicking around the area, you see the drastic change on the north side. All right, you see how it's 1.6 around Lafayette, and then it's 2, and then it's 3, and then across the Indy area it's 4. This is out through 8 p.m. tomorrow night. This is a 24-hour forecast. Okay, there's still snow potentially behind this. And then you look here in the Greenwood area, you're at 7.5. You know, Bloomington, you're at 8. Columbus, you're at 9.5. Some isolated higher totals in there down to the south of almost, almost 10 inches. So it's still there. We're still, that's the point of the forecast update right now, is we're just mentioning the risks. You can take it for what it is, but that's our job. We're predicting the future. Real quick, I'll take a little adventure here, just for some of you that may be in other locations, other states here across northern Kansas. That green color you see there, that's an indication of almost 20 inches of snow with winds that'll be gusting upwards of 45, 50 miles per hour perhaps. There's blizzard warnings out there across portions of Kansas. Going into portions of northern Missouri, it's still continuing. There's northwestern Missouri, there's blizzard warnings as well. You can see the 10, 15-inch snowfall suggestions. Note the gap. This is what Brett was talking about a little bit ago in Illinois, where there's lower totals. That I still think somewhere in here there's a lower total as the storm transfers energy from one area of low pressure to the next one. The question is exactly where that happens. We don't know yet, but that's what the data is trying to do. Again, this is a 24-hour map that ends at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. It still has more snow after this. Just something to, a way to show this to you, for just a general idea. So,
in terms of ice, getting
yes,
a ton of questions about ice and,
Yep.
and sleet and whatnot.
Yep. So we'll show you the ice forecast, and you can kind of see here. I'm just going to take it through now. I'm going to take it out before it starts accumulating in south central Indiana. This is the suggestion here from the evening run of the high-res data. Again, across portions of Missouri, all right, far southern Illinois, southwestern Indiana, far northwestern Kentucky. I think that's over an inch of ice being suggested.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild, but prolific ice storm is absolutely still going to happen. You're talking widespread impossible travel and widespread outages of power. It's not going to be good. These types of ice storms are, they make the history books. These aren't good. They cost money, and people get hurt. So really want to keep that in mind. Northern Kentucky, far southwest Indiana, southern Illinois, and south central Missouri under the gun for some ice. Now, the interesting part about this is, I'll go down here and get back to my animation, is that tomorrow night when we get into the lull, why does it do this to me, Brett? It hates me. When we get into the lull, what happens is the precip works in, we work in a lower level, kind of saturation still, where it's still going to have precipitation, but there's not snowflake development because there's no saturated air, there's no moisture in the DGZ where the snowflake can develop, but there's still moisture, and you see where it has snowed on top of that, freezing rain and freezing drizzle can develop, so it can kind of coat that area that had snow initially. You can put ice on top of it. In fact, this latest run here, let's hope I don't break it when I zoom in. This latest run would suggest some spots could see a trace to 1/10 of an inch, maybe locally higher, which you put that on top of the snow, and you've got problems there travel-wise. So something to consider there for sure.
Real quick, Michael, I'm
Yeah,
going
what
to
else
take
we got?
this because I don't want to forget about the people that are powering this live stream, which is our friends at Express Steel, because you're going to need your snow pushers. So be sure to head over to Express Steel. or if you need a snow pusher, you're not going to have it in time for this upcoming storm. But hey, there's another one we're watching as we work into late next week. Be sure to go to expresssteelinc.com. You can learn more about our partnership at expresssteelinc.com/BAM. And if you buy a snow pusher, you go there, you buy one online, ships free to anywhere in the lower 48, made here in America. You can use the code BAM to get $100 off. And we really couldn't do these live streams without them. They're the ones that make it possible and make it happen. And we love working with them. Awesome people over there at Express Steel Inc. Be sure to give them some love in the comments on the stream. So, all right. What did we miss?
I don't know. Do we
What
have
else?
what are our comments looking like? Do we have any questions?
Yeah, somebody earlier asked, let's see here, about the backside wave. Yeah, that's still looking likely as we work into late Monday morning and into Monday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see here. Elite snow pushers, yes. Is that accurate? 1.02 inches of ice near Evansville. That's probably a little bit overdone. I think that much liquid could fall, but the chances of it all, what we call accreting on surfaces, it's probably not that much. But I do think a half an inch or more of ice for areas along the river and into northern Kentucky are certainly possible. There could be some totals of 3/4 of an inch to locally 1 inch. Regardless, anything more than a half an inch is going to be major problems in those areas. Ooh, look at that.
What else do you got, Brett?
Let's see here. The comments are coming in so fast, it's almost hard to keep up. Do you all think we'll get blizzard warnings? I don't think that we're going to get blizzard warnings. I do think that some wind gusts are possible, up to 35 miles per hour, but I'm not sure they're going to be frequent enough for us to get to a blizzard warning criteria. Will we have blowing and drifting snow? Yes. What does that mean in terms of actually measuring snow? It means it's going to be very hard to measure snow. Keep that in mind when you're going out to tomorrow afternoon or Monday morning and putting a ruler into the ground. It is going to be hard to measure the snow. You might put the ruler down in one spot of the yard and get more than a foot of snow, and then another part of the yard and have 2 or 3 inches. And so that is something that we need to keep in mind because there will likely be some blowing and drifting of the snow, especially into Monday as we get the colder air to really wrap around into the system. So what we're looking at here, guys, this is the probabilities of 4 inches or more of snow. And I believe this contour, Michael, is this 80% or higher here?
90 or higher.
90% or higher here. So that's a extremely high probability for anywhere north of St. Louis all the way out through Terre Haute, Bloomington, Bedford, Mitchell, Indiana, Seymour, Indiana, Columbus, Greenwood, Franklin. This is a widespread area. A high probability of 4 inches plus of snow that we're going to be dealing with throughout this system.
I'm going to pull up, Brett, I think this is a good representation, a good way to wrap this up is just the general snowfall projections here from just the evening blend of everything. And then
yeah. So guys, this is the blend of models. So this basically factors in, gosh, probably 100 different weather models that you can all put into one projection here, guys. It's been very consistent as we've gone throughout the system across the area. Really, Michael, I'd say the past 72 hours, it's pretty much been consistent. It's maybe waffled in terms of the exact intensity, 13 inches of snow, 8 inches of snow. But this track and the 8 to 12 inch totals that it has had has been very consistent. And here's what it has. Throughout the duration of this system, guys, widespread swath from Indy to Bloomington, Columbus, Seymour of 8 to 12 inches of snow, locally higher in spots. You can see out here. You can see a couple of indications, I think, right here in Columbus at trying to put down nearly a foot of snow. And so certainly, guys, regardless of whether it's 10 inches of snow or 12 inches of snow, it's going to be very impactful, especially with the wind and the glaze of ice on top of it as well.
Well, guys, listen, this is gonna kind of wrap up tonight's stream. We've got a lot of forecasting to do. We've got a lot of data to shift through, um, and figure out exactly where this thing's gonna go. We've got a long, 12 hours, 15 hours ahead of us here of forecasting. Um, Bear with the team, bear with everybody here. Everyone's working very hard. Everyone's working long hours, and it's difficult. It's very hard to put your neck out on the line and make big forecasts. And so bear with us. We're doing the best we can, and we'll come back with a live tomorrow morning. I don't know the time yet. I'm not going to commit to a time just yet because as we get closer, we've got other things we've got to do. So. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the Facebook page, follow the X account, and you can check out the platform we've demoed tonight, which is Clarity. You can check it out. We send our videos there. We send our thoughts there, our updates. You get all kinds of really good information. You can visit bamwx.com and learn more about it, or you can scan that QR code in the top of the screen here. And
yeah, be sure to scan the QR code, subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. If you're on Facebook, be sure to go to @BamWeather on YouTube and subscribe. I think we're almost at 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, so go subscribe and get us there, and we appreciate all of your support.
Yeah, YouTube channel is growing. It's been great. So thank you all. Appreciate you. Tell a friend.